Hello, stampers. Today, it's going to be all about tulips. We have some awesome 3D tulips that are included with a flowering tulip bundle. So today, I'm going to show you how to put them together. Stampin' Up! Does not really include written directions in these in the dies. And so it's a bit of an experiment, and I've watched many videos, and this is what I have come up with that I like. So this is Becky's version. So today I'm going to show you how to put them together. I'm going to put together this card that you see right here, and I have several of other samples to show you. So let's get started. Again, I'm Becky Hahn at Becky's Stampin' Studio in Davenport, Iowa, and I'm delighted and finally feeling better to be with you here this Friday morning. So let's get started. As I mentioned, we're going to work with actually the flowering tulips, which is right here on page 16. You really can't see all of the dies that come with it, but there are really quite a few. There are 17 dies, and I love the stamp set too, and I'm going to show you a couple things without the dies. So this is on page 16. I have also used some of the designer series paper, which is beautiful as well, lots of color options, flowering fields, and I will show you a few others. I started my journey with those making a card I shared with you last week that Terry Gaines designed, and this is done with cardstock, and it allows for a little more shaping of the flower if you like to shape flowers, but I'm finding I really do like those that are done with the designer series paper. So your stamp set comes with images that you can just stamp and create a card. And we did one in class last week. Isn't this gorgeous? Uses some of the designer series paper, and I stamped the leaves and stem onto Soft Succulent in Evening Evergreen and cut them out with dies. They're coordinating dies. And then I stamped one of the flowers, I think it was this one, in Pumpkin Pie onto Mango Melody. And actually the stamen on the inside are not black or brown. They're actually Evening Evergreen. I took one of our Stampin' Right markers and did an omitting technique where I just colored the thank you and then stamped it on paper and fussy cut around it. And also added these absolutely adorable little brushed brass butterflies. They just add so much detail to it. So that's a stamped tulip, which is very possible. And it is two-step stamped, and you've got several different options there. And you do have some of these singular dies that you can use to punch those, to cut those out. Then we also have, excuse me, the leaf dies. There are two stems. The smaller stem actually has a stamp that coordinates with it and is short. The longer stem has no stamp and is one I'll show you today that you cut out of cardstock. The other pieces that you need, I'm going to show you to make the tulips, and they're all right here. You have a nice border of tulips, which I have not used yet. I basically took the month of January off. And then this creates a little pattern. It cuts actually little squares into your cardstock. And it's a photopolymer stamp set and has all of these. Oh, it has some awesome sentiments as well. I love the happy birthday. Just thinking of you today. Let today be the start of something new. You have your thank you, Mother's Day. So there's a lot of possibilities within this particular bundle. So here's the part that's clear as mud. When you take a look at these dies, it makes 3 different flowers. Let's see if I can find the right pieces here. Okay. The main part of the flower is what I call the 3-part flower because it folds. They have such neat dimension. So It looks like they each have 3 petals that you're going to fold, okay? So you'll need one of those for each of the 3 different tulips, and they all look a little different. Somebody showed this in 3 colors to demonstrate how to put it together, and I loved it. So this is, I call this the medium one. I probably should have stuck it in the middle. This one actually just folds in half. You're going to get a crease actually when you cut it out. And I like this one because it kind of, you have the ability to open that up and make it a little more fluted. This one, believe it or not, is the bud. And yes, it has so much dimension. It too has 3 sides to it. Okay, so that's the base. Then there's another piece I like to fondly refer to as the V. See how it's a V? And there are only the 2 larger tulip dimensional flowers take the V. The bud does not, hence why it's not here. There's only one of these dies. They should have given us 2, to be honest. That's my opinion. And then you do have, this is the center of the flower. Now, if you have, I ran all these pieces through my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, the little one, because they're so small. I just sat down and off we went. So it has a little more pressure on it, so I get a little more of the detail. Yes, if you have the correct pressures on your embossing machines, you can get some of this detail to come out more so on the cardstock than you do on the designer paper. So I will leave that there a minute. This will also be on my website with my directions so you can see how it all goes together. But I'm going to just kind of set this up. I am down a little closer because I do not have the ability with my phone to zoom in. So I wanted to make sure you could see what we can do. I am starting with this flower, and you look for the creases. Now I've pulled this. This is actually this way. I'm going to fold it here. You can finger press it, or in the case of cardstock, I like to fold it a little bit. So I've turned it from here, that's actually upside down, folded those in, and I know this is a darker color, but once I get the lighter colors in there, you'll see it. Okay, then I need one of these and one of these. I like to put mine together with mini glue dots. And what I do, now that they're on the strip and not the wheel, you're going to start with the center first. And I'm going to pick up a glue dot. I'm going to slide this in so it's centered. And you do not want this clear to the bottom, or you basically will lose it. Okay? So there's that piece. Notice there's still some gaps. So I'm going to pick up the V before I press it. And you don't want it too close to that crease or it's not going to fold on you. That could go down just a little bit, I think. And you suit yourself. There is really no right or wrong. Then you close it up. So you fold, I put one actually on the tulip in here. And I put it, and you can, it does not make any difference which one ends up on top and which one. I can see I've got this one on the top. So let's tuck this one on the bottom and see if it, and there's your first tulip. And it looks like I need one underneath. And so we just grab another glue dot. I have not tried multi-purpose glue. I want something that's going to stick fairly easily and quickly. Okay, so there's flower number 1. Then the next flower, the one that I probably use the most, and I'm using on the card I'm going to show you today. This one actually has 3 sections, but you're only going to fold it in half. So this is what it looks like. You've got a petal here and a petal here, and it opens from there. Okay. And again, we're going to need a V, and we're going to need a center. I've used Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and Fresh Freesia. There's reds, there's yellows, there's oranges. You can pretty much run the gamut. Go back to my strip here and see where my, okay, and once again, I'll kind of close it and stick that in there. I'll get the V piece, find a glue dot. You don't want to see the back layer, especially when you cut out of designer paper. That's going to, you have two-sided paper. So this piece then here, it will go wherever you want. This is very thin down here. And so what I like to do is take a glue dot and roll it into a rope. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. Okay, roll it into a little rope. And then I put the little rope, oh, did I not put glue on it? Probably not, since it came off. Let's try this one again. You gotta hide the purple behind the grape. Okay, here we go. Now I'm just gonna put this on the edge. And then you decide where you want this petal to end. And so I squish it. What's the back look like? Does that help? If you want to look at the back of yours, can you see some of the designer? This paper back there you'll never see. Okay. Thin the bud until somebody said, which way is up? Again, you've got creases. You're going to fold this itty bitty little piece. And then you're going to fold this other itty bitty piece. And it looked to me like, okay, cool, this is a bud. But it actually folds like the rest of them. So is this right side up? Or is this right side up? If you think of a tulip, frequently the petals have little ruffles on it or little scallops. Can you see where that's got a little bit of a scallop? It's the same thing with this centerpiece. There's a smooth bottom, and that's exactly what it is. It's the bottom, and then you've got the little ruffly piece on top. So it looks kind of wonky when you fold it, okay? And then you will need just a centerpiece. Where's my, I think I'm, nope, here's a dot yet. Okay. Now, the one thing I haven't completely rectified to suit me is when I put this in here where I want it. Sorry if I've gotten out of screen here. Then I have a little gap posis here, and I'm not sure what to do with it. So if you have any suggestions or have seen something different, yes, I'm out of those. Okay. For these, I put the glue dot on the big side and fold it in. And then I put a mini glue dot would be great at this point if you have them, brand X. Sometimes our glue dots come a little smaller than others, okay? And in like 5 minutes, you've got 3 different sized tulips, okay? So that's the brunt of it. That's how they go together, okay? So now that we've got our solid one, what do we do with it? Okay, I find I like to look at watercolor papers. I have gone through, if you haven't actually seen the New Horizons paper, you really need to get yourself a package and take a look at it. The mini catalog does not do it justice. There's a beautiful pink. I would still want to use all the shades here to use different parts to make the tulip. So you can just go through. There's all kinds of watercolor looks. So here's a couple I just pulled out of there. You saw this pink one. Okay, this is the back side of this one. Look at this. And you can get, I'll show you a sheet where I got 3 flowers down the center. So you can get about 9 flowers out of one of these. Here's another side if you just want, and I'll show you how to get a little color. How about a pale papaya one? And this is the one that I've used here. Okay, so what I've used is this bottom section. So in order to run it through my Baby Boss, I've cut it in half, which is great for these 6x6, and I can use this piece for something else, or this part. Okay, so look at your papers and find things with some neat colorations, or you can make your own. What I really love and what I'm using in my sample is our Simply Marbleous Celebration freebie paper. See, I ran it down the center. I was trying to get more of an impression, and I used my old base plate that has the extra piece down the middle that raises it a little bit. Still didn't work. Designer paper just wasn't thick enough, but you can work with it. So yes, I have three of the larger flowers, the one that I like that opens up, and I probably still have room. You can use this side, or I'm going to show you if this is too light once you get it cut out, which I thought. I'll show you what you can do to create your own color. This then comes with yellow, and you've got both sides. You have purple. I'm going to show you what to do with that. I have one finished. You've got kind of a Bermuda Bay or Coastal Cabana. Yes, you can make flowers that color. You can add some color for any kind of tulip you want with the gray. Gorgeous. And last but not least, actually, the tulip paper, this is the great big field of flowers. And this piece that I used also has some really interesting colorations that you could play around with and make some tulips out of. So I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like and how it goes with some of our designer series paper. By the time you're finished, if you make some of these with me and get it cut out, you'll know what you're doing, okay? So this one, which is, I'll give you a point of reference, which is this one, okay? So this one so if you make yourself a little chart like this, you'll know what you're hopefully doing. See, notice, there's nothing, you can't try and line it up, you just crease, okay? So I needed this one. I needed this one, and I need one of these two. I think I'm going to use the darker one. Okay, I'm not going to take the time now to put it together, but if you want to put the V in first and build it like that, you can tuck that in. There is this one. Notice how the colors change. And then the bud. Okay. No, we flip it around. You need the ruffle on top. At least that's my opinion. You can do whatever you want. It's your card, as my mother will tell me. It's your card. Okay. So that's what it looks like if you use some designer series paper like from the New Horizons. Okay? Fun, fun, fun. All right. So one card I put together, I had not used this purple paper yet with the tulips. And so I set out to go about using it. And I didn't particularly care for this coloration on the back, but that was me. So what I did is I went to the Simply Marbleous paper, and we have this purple, but I really thought that the two, it's not too bad, that's Highland Heather. So, but what I decided to do, and what you can do with any paper, is, here again, I cut it into a piece of 3. I took an ink pad, and because I felt the stronger color in here was rich raspberry, even though that's not listed, I'm adding rich raspberry to my paper using a blender brush. Pick up some ink. I get rid of some wherever and add some color. And you can create it and make it as, see, it's got a little bit of red in it. And I would recommend doing this before you cut it out. Oops. Okay, notice how you've got, this end then is actually the gorgeous grape. And I tried it adds color, but I really wanted more of a contrast. So this is the Rich Raspberry on the Simply Marbleous. Yes, that works. You've got the regular and then whatever, and you could do the whole thing. So these petals, these Dimensional Tulips, are one of each. I stamped the stems instead of cut them out like you're going to see in my next one. I used the scallop contour dies. Put it on the inside. I love it. It's really went together really, really easily. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I just did this last night at a demonstrator event. So what you're going to need, and one of the samples on my website shows this doily with 3 flowers on it. I actually ended up having to swap that last night, so I don't have the actual version. It is on my website because I have a picture. It was just too many flowers. So I played around and I went with my bigger flower. I love the color combination I had seen. This is basic gray, 4 by 5 1/4. This is from the Blessings of Home paper. Okay, and there's a nice basic gray and white wood grain on that. 4 corners, I tell my gals, and down the middle, you do whatever you like. Okay, the doilies are also from the Blessings of Home. They come in basic gray, bumblebee, I think, and, I'm bad, and misty moonlight. I have just as easily used the white side, but I really liked this. So grab one of these doilies, and the supplies are all on my blog. Okay. And now we need to build our flower. And I gave them all of their pieces in their baggies. Okay. Looks like I'm missing rhinestones. They were there a minute ago. Oh, here they are. I did that. These are the iridescent rhinestones that are so pretty, and they kind of pick up whatever color you're using. Notice how right now it's pink. If you tip it, it might be purple. It might be the gray. These were on back order, and so I was kind of rationing them. So they're back in, but already in short supply. So again, so here is the 3 petal piece, which is the larger one. We have our V, and we have our center. Okay, so we start just like we always do. I gave them a preview of this video yesterday. So hello, if you're here from last night. Okay, so we're going to put this in here where we think we want it. I'll lift another glue dot. Oh, notice you've got blues, lights and darks, and you can place your dies on this pretty paper wherever you want it. Okay, then I need a little rope. I'm going to roll it in my fingers. My customers fondly call these booger balls. And we make that so it lays where we want it. Ta-da! Okay. And I put it kind of at an angle so I could see a lot of the dots there. And I thought I had forgotten, or they hadn't popped out all the dots on my doily. It's actually the line in the paper coming through. Look how narrow this is. Okay. A couple things you can do. You can cut this out of an adhesive sheet and do a peel and stick thing. Love my silicone mat. So whether you're using Seal or whatever your favorite adhesive is, all that really sticks The rest of it's on your silicone mat. We hope. Then you're going to get under that a little bit and tuck it in. Oops, under. And it curves a little. And it's a little too long, so don't get pushing too hard yet. There. Get that off the bottom. Oh, I didn't show you guys how I shape these. Okay. So I have there's a small leaf and a large leaf. I think I went with a large leaf because since it's curling a little bit that direction, I wanted the bigger one there. And I liked, since you can't see my 3-1, look online, I had more stem I could play with here. And you can decide which way they're going to curl. You could twist these up. Notice I just put it, maybe you couldn't see, I just put adhesive on the bottom of the leaf so I can do whatever with it. Ribbon. This is actually Flirty Flamingo ribbon that used to come in a combo, and I absolutely could not find it on, there's no name on it, so my apologies. You can color, we do have a Flirty Flamingo blend. You could color some, you could use white, you could do whatever you want. I made a double loopy thing here. Okay. And then I'll finish up with an odd number of these iridescent rhinestones. One large. I love them. I love rhinestones anyway. Whoop! Where'd he go? There it is. Triangles are good if you don't know where else to put it. Okay? And there's that one. Just with a single flower. Look at all the different colorations. They're both different but the same. Oh, I love it. So, just kind of backtrack here a minute. When I cut out the flowers for my card, if you look at the back side, it's the same thing, but I then had cut out a set from the right side, which is lighter. These are all sticky because I had them already cut out and I decided they needed color. Okay, so this is what it was. And I colored it, let's see. Some of them were done in Flirty Flamingo, so it's got a little more of a coral color. And the rest of them were done with polished pink. And I honestly can't tell a whole lot with some of them. It depends on the variations in the paper. Okay, so you can, like I said, I had to stick them down so that when I used my blending brush, it didn't move them all over the place and I was playing chase. Okay, these are really, really fun to play with. I can see so many possibilities. I love the fact that Stampin' Up! Has created something that's kind of different. And in Iowa today, the wind chill is very cold, so it's kind of nice to be thinking spring. Oh, one of the things I did want to point out on this one, when I watched how she put this together, it's 2 colors. It's Poppy Parade and Calypso Coral. And the Calypso Coral V was cut from the piece underneath, which is kind of neat. And the gal that demonstrated this, it was Terry Gaines, I think I mentioned last time, she put it together with dimensionals. So that's an option too. And she put this little piece here on top. So if you get these dies, and they are available, you can experiment and play with them. And if you come up with something really, really cool, please share. I am oh so interested and into sharing. So again, thank you for joining me this Friday afternoon. If you would like any supplies and do not have a demonstrator, this is my February host code. We are reaching the end of celebration. These Simply Marbleous papers are part of celebration, and they will be gone as of the 28th, which is a week from this coming Monday. So have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye.